3 months ago, my life took an unsettling turn. Shadows flickered at the edges of my vision, too fleeting to name, too strange to ignore. Calling them ghosts feels like a leap, but no other word fits the eerie, unexplainable things that have crept into my world. What started as minor oddities has grown into a persistent mystery, one I can't dismiss. At first, I brushed it off. Faulty wiring, a draft, my own imagination. But as the incidents piled up, I was forced to face the possibility of something beyond reason. It began in late spring, in my quiet home in a small town. Lights flickered on and off without cause, appliances hummed to life unprompted, and patches of rooms turned icy cold, as if the warmth had been drained away. Objects, a glass, a book, a small figurine, shifted slightly, sometimes tumbling from shelves or countertops as if nudged by an unseen hand. Like anyone grounded in logic, I blamed natural causes. A loose bulb, a breeze through a cracked window, or my own distraction. But the frequency and strangeness of these events chipped away at my skepticism, pushing me to consider explanations I'd once laughed off. I've always been drawn to the macabre. Horror films, survival games, and late-night dives into eerie online tales have long been my escape. So, when logic failed, my mind turned to the supernatural. I'm not one to let my imagination run wild, but there's only so much you can rationalize when the inexplicable becomes routine. Soon, the disturbances grew bolder. Faces appeared in mirrors, distorted and fleeting, vanishing when I turned to look. Shadows danced across my bedroom walls at night, cast by no discernible light. Creaks echoed outside my door, like deliberate footsteps pacing in the dark. These occurrences happened about once a week, each one leaving me caught between fascination and unease. I've read about others who find comfort in such experiences, as if these unseen presences are benign companions, like quiet house guests who linger without malice. It's a sweet thought, but it doesn't resonate with me. I feel neither warmth nor outright fear, just a gnawing uncertainty. The idea of spirits returning, their motives unclear, their nature good or evil, unsettles me deeply. Are they lost souls wandering aimlessly? Malevolent entities with purpose? Or something else entirely? The ambiguity keeps me awake, wondering if I should be afraid. Curiosity drove me to scour the internet for answers. Most sources suggested that spirits are often harmless, lingering without intent, much like I used to wander shopping centers aimlessly in my youth. This eased my mind, but a nagging question lingered, one I hesitated to voice. Can ghosts harm people? I braced myself and searched, dreading what I might find. Reports surfaced of scratches, burns, and bruises attributed to unseen forces. Medical explanations, rare neurological conditions, stress-induced hallucinations, offered some comfort, but they felt too tidy. I've seen doctors slap vague diagnoses on mysteries they can't unravel, either to soothe patients or mask their own confusion. What if some of these injuries defied science? The possibility hung heavy, unresolved. Then, a darker question emerged. Can ghosts kill? I hoped I was venturing into the absurd, but the answers chilled me. Most spirits, if they exist, are benign. Some cause minor harm, but a rare few have taken lives. Digging deeper, I uncovered a list of spirits notorious for multiple murders, considered the deadliest entities still haunting our world. What follows is a detailed account of these malevolent spirits, shared to warn you and help you avoid their grasp. Each story is tied to a cursed mansion in southern Louisiana, a place steeped in darkness where nearly 1,000 ghosts are said to reside. In the early 1700s, deep in a Louisiana bayou, lived Seraphine Duval, a woman of haunting beauty. Her raven hair cascaded in waves, and her emerald eyes seemed to pierce the soul of anyone who met her gaze. Abandoned as a child when strange occurrences, objects levitating, whispers in the night, followed her, her parents fled in fear, believing she was cursed. Left to survive in the swamp, Seraphine adapted with uncanny skill, learning to harvest its plants, fish its waters, and navigate its treacherous paths. Though uneducated in a formal sense, her intellect was razor-sharp, her curiosity boundless. Solitude became her companion, and she found joy in collecting items left behind by travelers, tattered books, rusted tools, and musical instruments like the mandolin and harmonica. She devoured every book she found, blending fact and fiction, convinced a magical world existed beyond her swamp. Her days were spent reading or filling the air with haunting melodies, the swamp itself seeming to hum in harmony. One day, she discovered a peculiar treasure, a heavy, leather-bound tome, alone in the mud, with no sign of its owner. Its pages were filled with arcane symbols, rituals, and spells, an ancient grimoire. Seraphine claimed it, believing anything left in her domain was hers by right. For weeks, she immersed herself in the book, its words resonating deep within her soul. It revealed secrets of astral projection, communing with spirits, and enchantments to invigorate life. She memorized its passages, reading it countless times under the glow of fireflies. On moonlit nights, she danced with the swamp's phantoms, her chants breathing vitality into the trees and creatures around her. Though the grimoire contained curses and dark magic, Seraphine vowed never to harm a living soul, cherishing the life she nurtured. Her swamp flourished, its lushness drawing outsiders seeking its bounty. Rumors of a sorceress spread, fueled by fear when disease ravaged the nearby town's crops and families. Blamed for their woes, Seraphine was seized on a crimson moonlit night. The townsfolk dragged her and her grimoire to the town square, binding her to a pyre of dry branches. As they doused her in oil, she whispered incantations, her voice calm despite their accusations. A match was struck, and flames consumed her. Her screams echoed through the night, her flesh melting until only her head, untouched, serene, remained, alongside the unburned grimoire. Terrified, the townsfolk cast both into the swamp's depths, hoping nature would erase her forever. Centuries later, a wealthy merchant built a grand estate on that land, unaware of Seraphine's restless spirit. Her ghost haunts a hidden chamber, her head resting on a wooden table beside her open grimoire. She collects trinkets from visitors, rings, keys, small instruments, discarding all books but her own. Those who merely glimpse her are spared, but sitting in the chair by her table invites her wrath. Her face contorts into a mask of fury, her eyes sinking into hollow sockets, as she shrieks. Victims feel an unbearable heat, their skin blistering and burning until they crumble to ash, swept away by the mansion's breezes. Her estimated victims, 4. Her name, Seraphine Duval, known as Madame Duval. In the early 1800s, near a thriving southern town, lived Nathaniel Warwick, a man of wealth and warmth. His silver hair and kind eyes made him a beloved figure, and his sprawling mansion was a marvel of elegance. He lived with his cherished wife, Eliza, who rarely ventured outside but filled their home with love through her cooking. Nathaniel supported local artisans, buying their wares and hosting grand gatherings where Eliza's meals, crafted from local ingredients, were celebrated. His pride was his gallery, a room adorned with vibrant pastoral paintings from the town's artists. Known as the town's host, he thrived on bringing people together. Their joy faded when Eliza grew reclusive, locking herself away without explanation. Nathaniel, once jovial, became withdrawn, his visits to town dwindling. He pressed her for answers, but she offered only faint smiles. Doctors found no ailment, yet her silence deepened. Nathaniel's frustration turned to rage, his once gentle heart consumed by helplessness. One night, he confronted her, demanding clarity. Her cryptic reply, "This is your path," shattered his restraint. In a blind fury, he strangled her, her lifeless body crumpling in his hands. Overwhelmed by guilt, he buried her in the estate cemetery, then drank a bottle of whiskey and hanged himself in the gallery. His spirit lingers, his sobs echoing through the mansion's halls. His body is said to hang in the gallery, the words, "My path," carved into the walls. Those who see him are gripped by despair, often driven to mimic his fate, hanging themselves after etching the same phrase into the wood. Estimated victims, 7. His name, Nathaniel Warwick, known as the Host. In the 1850s, Silas Harrow lived a simple but joyful life in Mississippi with his wife and 2 children. A mill worker, he provided land, his family's love his greatest treasure. But a secret debt to a ruthless loan shark unraveled Silas begged for time, only to be beaten and doused with acid that melted his face. His family, horrified, rejected him, believing him a monster. Fleeing south with only a cloak, cane, and a small case, he sought refuge in an abandoned mansion. Living off stored food and reading the owner's books, Silas hid in the attic when the owner returned. In a panic, he stabbed the owner with broken glass, then carved off his face, wearing it as his own. The owner, in his final act, killed Silas. Now, Silas's ghost roams the mansion, clutching his cane and case, stealing the faces of his victims. Those he targets feel stabbing pains, their skin peeling away as he claims their faces for his collection. Estimated victims, 14. His name, Silas Harrow, known as the Faceless. In 1886, Philadelphia adored Cassandra Vale, a golden-haired beauty with sapphire eyes. Her charm propelled her to Broadway, where her beauty outshone her talent. Spoiled by an easy life, she grew entitled, believing roles should be hers without effort. When her fame waned, she married a wealthy man, only to murder him with a hatchet, severing his head. Inheriting his fortune, she repeated the cycle, killing 4 more husbands and collecting their sapphire necklaces. Her final husband's son discovered her crime, killing her and hiding her heart in the attic. Cassandra's ghost, in a bloodied gown, lures men with her beauty, only to strike their necks with her hatchet. Estimated victims, 22. Her name, Cassandra Vale, known as the Sapphire Widow. In 1930s Florida, 3 brothers, Jasper, Gideon, and Phineas Kane, faced the Great Depression's devastation. Jasper, the youngest, was frail and skeletal, plagued by a wasting disease. Gideon, the middle brother, studied medicine but couldn't afford school. Phineas, the eldest, worked in a factory until their father's illness drained their funds. Choosing Gideon's education over their father's treatment, the family grieved his death. Gideon, known as the Scholar, returned home when tuition soared, while Jasper, the Wraith, grew sicker. Their mother's suicide left them destitute. Turning to moonshine, the brothers needed cars for their rides. Phineas, the outlaw, began killing drivers, stealing their vehicles. Jasper and Gideon joined, each with their own method. Jasper slit throats and removed eyes. Gideon sedated victims for dissection. Phineas shot families outright. After Phineas's arrest, his brothers freed him, and they fled south, hiding in a cemetery mausoleum near a mansion. Their bodies were never found, but their spirits haunt a nearby road, appearing as hitchhikers. Picking them up means death. Jasper slashes, Phineas shoots, Gideon dissects. Estimated collective victims, 41. Their names, Jasper, Gideon, and Phineas Kane, known as the Phantoms. These spirits, Seraphine, Nathaniel, Silas, Cassandra, and the Kane brothers, are bound to a cursed mansion in southern Louisiana, a place of nearly 1,000 ghosts. The attic, cemetery, and gallery are linked by an unholy force. I won't name the place to protect you. My own encounters, flickering lights, cold spots, shadows, pale in comparison, but they remind me to stay vigilant. Document any strange events, rule out natural causes, and never seek out this mansion. Its spirits care not for your beliefs, and the cost of curiosity could be your life. Stay safe, and may you never cross paths with these deadly ghosts.